Hello and welcome to the Saturday live stream. I appreciate you guys being here. If you think the blah 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 words are hard today, to the regular viewers, thank you guys for coming back. If you're new here, welcome. Definitely put any questions, comments, and stuff in the chat. I always get to the end of the chat unless I get rushed out of here for something. So if you do leave a message or in the chat, I will get to it. Sometimes I just get a little behind. So also, let's see. Sorry. What can I do in here? Set a timer. I could set a goal. I've never done this. We don't have to... let's see, do this. Yeah, I don't even know. Never mind. I was going to set a chat goal because you can do that now. I don't know what for. I will say thank you. So, okay, let's try that. You could do a super chat goal. I've never done that. So anyways, let's dive in. In today's stream, I want to talk about on Tuesday, the Apple event is coming up. I'll share some of the stuff you could expect if you don't know about it. I'd like to hear some of your guys' thoughts. But before that, I want to talk about some smart home updates. Right now, there is I guess electronics, I don't know, the equivalent to CES, but I don't even know what it stands for. It is the international version that's happening in Berlin right now. And during this, you'll hear about various smart, my cat's knocking. You'll hear about various smart home updates that are going on. So I thought I would share some of those updates with you guys. And we'll start off with that and then talk about the Apple event. But before I do, I want to go through the chat and say hello to a few folks. Break time. Good morning from Phoenix. Cooling down here. Welcome. Bill, I appreciate you being here, Bill. He is our timekeeper that helps keep me on track in the Discord. And if you'd like to join the member only Discord, if you become a channel member, you'll get to see some videos that aren't normally on that aren't released to everybody. You'll also have access to the member stream that happens before this, where you get a little behind the scenes and we talk about all different things. And you get access to the member only Discord, where you can communicate, share stuff, ask questions, and see what others have to say. So think about that if you'd like to support the channel. John, good morning, and from Cool, Texas, channel for fans. Hello from Wembley in London, because the England versus Andorra match is beginning today. Yeah, my daughter wants to go to... she wants to go to Wembley at some point. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Rhett, one of our channel members, at Jack's Diner, the member stream was a real honest dialogue. I love it. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're talking about sponsorships and stuff and some of the thoughts behind that. So if you do want to hear about that, you could go check out the replay of it. John, sounds like Aqara is coming out with some new devices. And yeah, we're going to talk about that in a few. And then, let's see. And Kevin, welcome Kevin, Lakeland, Florida. Thank you for being here. Alan, I didn't see you at the member stream. Thank you, Alan, for being here. One of our longtime channel members. Good morning, Nick, Curtis, good morning. David, hello all. Please consider becoming a member. You get behind the scene video, member only streams, and exclusive content. Thank you very much, David. Starlink is getting faster, over 200 megabyte download and 25 upload. That's nice. I'm glad to see it's getting quicker. And good morning, William. And John, I have 4 computers at one time. Very good. That very cool. I've thought about Starlink. The upload speeds are definitely better than cable internet, so that's good. Yeah, Craig's still learning English. Yes, definitely. State of Wisconsin. That's where my sister lives now. I'll do to Coldplay is playing at Wembley. That's funny. And Keith, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So let's dive into some smart home devices. So let's talk about some smart home devices today. We'll start off with some updates from IFA, I guess that's what it's called, in Berlin, and we'll talk about Philips Hue. Philips Hue is actually coming out with some affordable device options. This is an article from The Verge that goes over some of these updates. Philips is finally going to introduce a light bulb that doesn't require a hub and doesn't cost $50 plus per bulb. They also are introducing first their new third generation bridge. It is the first time in 10 years that Hue has updated their bridge. If you're not familiar with how Hue devices work, Philips Hue bulbs use Zigbee to talk to a hub, and Zigbee, super fast connection going that route. Like light response is almost immediate. I actually restarted or unplugged a Philips Hue bulb, plugged it back in, and like 10 seconds later, I was able to control it using Zigbee. This new hub is capable of doing 150 lights instead of the 50 lights that the previous bridge was limited to. Now, one of the features I thought was interesting, and I'll just let this play. One of the features I thought was interesting with this is this Hue bridge is able to detect motion based on lights that you already have. So the way this works is it uses Zigbee to talk to lights, and then these lights, based on signal strength, so basically your body getting in the way of the Zigbee communication and the strength of it, it can tell whether someone has entered the room, which is crazy. So you take bulbs that are 10 years old, and just based on their strength talking to the hub, it'll know if someone's there. Also, this will give you access to 500 scenes. I really don't see that being that important. I don't write scenes within my hub, but it is an option to do that. I do think it's interesting, though, that you don't need any additional sensors to be able to walk into a room and it know whether you're in there or not. So, and even you could adjust the sensitivity based on pets and all of that. So I thought that was an interesting update coming out from Philips. Now, when it comes to their smart bulbs, they have now introduced their essential bulbs. And their essential bulbs, and I'll share a link where you could actually pick them up if you're interested in getting some now. Their new entry bulbs they're not as bright. Actually, they're about the same brightness as what was their high-end bulbs. Some of the limitations with it can only dim down to 2%. I don't see that as a big deal. It versus 0.2%. So I really don't see that as a big deal. It also is limited in its white light range. And again, that is something I don't see being a big deal. You know, going from 2200 to 6500 Kelvin, that gets you a nice warm white. And if you look at traditional incandescent bulbs, that warm white you get, that is 2800 Kelvin. So it gets you to that warm, and it gets you a nice cool white. Going down to 1000, that is very orange. That is a very orange white light. I would never take it that far. And going to 20,000, that is extremely cool. I really don't see ever utilizing that. I'm curious though about the color quality. It's, versus their image. I don't know how much a difference that's going to make. Now, what is nice with it, and this is where they kind of push you into going for the more expensive option, is you can get the BR30 bulbs for $20 a bulb. Now, considering those used to be, with their previous or their more expensive lights, those would be typically like 50 plus per bulb. You can go with a 1-pack for $25. Now, I'll drop a link if anybody's interested in this. And just so you know, the way these channel member links or these links work is if you if you click on that link, anything you buy within 24 hours, a small couple percentage go back to the channel at no additional cost to you. So, yeah, you can click on this and you can then do all your Christmas shopping early. And I would get a couple percent of anything you buy. Or you could restock on household goods, all that. You can even click on the Amazon homepage, and if you bookmark that, then a couple percentage points go back. I can't encourage you to bookmark any of this stuff because that's against terms of service. So I just let you know that those are options that are out there. Now, the bulbs that I think are interesting, it is the regular essential bulb. This is equivalent to your typical 60-watt incandescent bulb. It is 800 lumens. That is pretty much standard. One of the things I like about this is it's not the weird shaped Hue bulbs. One of the things I think hurts the Philip Hue bulbs is their kind of weird shape. And I say that is because you don't want a lot of the light coming out of the front of the bulb. You want it, in most cases, to come out the sides too. If you're looking at a light, a pendant light or something, or a light with a shade, you want that light to bounce around and have more of the light created bouncing out the light. Just having it pointing out the front isn't as good. So these right here, this is where they get you, is that for one of them, because I want to see how well they work, and I really don't need 4 of them, but one of them is $25. 2-pack is $20. The real deal is a 4-pack for $60. So I'm thinking I'm going to need to get the 4-pack and check them out and do a video on them and see how well they stack up. So these are available now. I'll throw a link to these too, so if you want to check them out. But then we'll talk about some of the other lights that are available now, and we'll go to the Philip Hue page for those. Let's close that down. Now, another thing that's coming out, or another thing to mention with these bulbs, is that these are matter over thread. So for the first time, you don't need to buy a Philip Hue bridge to be able to use these. You can connect them to a thread network, connect them directly into your smart assistant of choice, and it'll be ready to go. Personally, I would connect them to a hub still. And the reason why is that Zigbee is so fast and so reliable. I would much rather connect everything using Zigbee, and it's such a robust connection. So Thread's good, it'd be my second choice, but Zigbee is just consistent and been around forever. Now, they're upgrading their standard bulbs too. So let's see, let's go. Their standard bulb is going to be available in a 75-watt configuration. That is $60 per bulb. This is basically their updated version of the bulbs they've had out forever. They have some updated, their ChromaSync, precision color, whatever that is. But again, with these, you don't need to have a hub to be able to use them. These will connect with matter over thread. So if you have been using this style of bulb from Hue, you're just getting an update to it. They've had a 75-watt equivalent before, but they have a 100-watt equivalent. This light, I think, is overpriced, isn't worth it. I have one, and I think a combination of the shape and it's so long that so much light output is lost out of it. So I wouldn't go over the 1100 personally. Maybe even just stick with the 810. But for $5 more, I would probably just go with the extra brightness of that. Now, those are not available on Amazon yet. Personally, I'm waiting for this stuff to show up on Amazon because I'd rather take advantage of their return policy. I will say, because I did order some lamps from Hue, they are great when it comes to returns. I ordered their different shaped bulbs. I decided I wanted to go a different direction, packed them up. They gave me a shipping label and at no additional cost. They took the return back. Now, some other updates that are happening is light strips. And these are definitely needed because Hue light strips have been pretty bad. Their coverage is horrible. I would never recommend them at all. They now have this new Omni Glow, which the idea is you're not going to see any hot spots with it. There is 170 LEDs per centimeter. So it is going to give you a very consistent lighting around it. So if you're looking for a strip that you visually can look at and doesn't look horrible, this would be a great way to go. And it's 4,500 lumens of brightness, which is really great. That I did look that up. That is $140 for, I don't know why that says 27, for 10 feet. So when it comes to Hue strips, their gradient was like almost $200 for 2 meters. So definitely better coverage at a better price. Still expensive. I think the ones that look more interesting that you can't get a hold of yet are the Hue Flux strips. Those are $70 for 3 meters. And they're $99 for 5 meters. So those are the ones that I can see being a better option for people. And these can connect using Zigbee and Bluetooth only. They don't have thread. So you would need one of their routers for it. Last, a couple things on the Hue side. They have these downlights, the permanent lighting. I can't recommend those. Looking at the videos and the output on them, the color saturation doesn't look very good. But those are an option that are coming out. And they also have some new outdoor lighting. Let's see if I can find, I thought I bookmarked them. Maybe I didn't. Oh, these right here. These look horrible. So they're only 50 lumens of output, which is very dim when it comes to a bulb. They're basically like 10% of the brightness of other bulbs. So I don't see picking those up. I would look at more affordable options when it comes to that. I think really the best thing coming from Hue right now is going to be trying out these essential bulbs. And again, I would recommend using one of their hubs for that. Now, we're going to go into some other smart devices in a minute. I do want to check in and thank you, Bill, for the heads up in Discord. 15 minutes. I'm barely behind. So now let's go back into the chat for a moment. Okay, I'm caught up. You're looking good. Yay! Thank you. So, let's see. Channel for fans. I'm having a bit of a problem with my Ring doorbell app. It said I need to do a configuration update, even though the version number is at the latest. Do you have any fix tips for that? Now, configuration update. Be honest, I haven't used the Ring app recently. I actually need to recharge some cameras. Part of me, one of the things I like to do every once in a while if an app is acting up is just to delete it because it's so easy to log back in since everything's cloud-based. If it's telling you a configuration update, I think it's either potentially your devices need an update, which I haven't seen any notifications for that. Or if it is an app update, I'm wondering if by deleting it off your phone, you're going to delete whatever saved settings and memory and configuration stuff is there. Because like on the iPhone, if you delete data or delete an app, it removes all the data associated with that app. So that could be an option, and then reinstall it, log back in, and you should be good to go. If you're still seeing that, I think it comes down to possibly being an issue, an update needed for the lights themselves. Keith, I believe the new SwitchBot video doorbell is being released shortly. Have you been offered any for review? They did talk to me about that. There hasn't been any updates with that. I think it's interesting. SwitchBot's coming out with the video doorbell, and with it, it comes with a monitor, so that you can set that monitor up on a counter and just have a separate standalone monitor at about the same price as what you're going to pay for any other video doorbell. So I think that's a cool option. One of the things I like about SwitchBot is that they tend to offer things. They offer different options over what the competition's offering. Like they brought out the SwitchBot curtains that help you take curtains that you already have and automate them. Well, when those first came out, other companies were just selling $400+ smart shades. Nobody is selling curtains. They came out with their button pusher, and that was meant to automate things you already have. You put one of the button pushers on your coffee maker, and it makes your coffee maker smart. The SwitchBot blind tilt. That goes on your blinds, and you take your standard blinds. They could be the $50 cheapy Home Depot blinds. You put one of those on there, and you now have smart blinds. So I do appreciate, them offering different things within the space instead of a lot of these other companies just copying what everyone else has always done. So I haven't seen that yet. And there is... I do have a SwitchBot video coming out. One of my favorite devices is the SwitchBot mini robot vacuum. Might see updates to that. I don't know. I don't want to talk out of turn, but you never know. There could be some updates happening on that side. And Wimberley, Texas. Thanks for sharing, John. And switching to a new hub. What hub is that? Now, and Bill, tribute to Paul Hibbert. Oh, the Zigbee. God, he's popularized that. David, I'm confused with you bringing out cheaper bulbs. It's a slight up yours to people who are already in the ecosystem. Also, what's their SmartWiz bulb for then? SmartWiz never connected to, I thought they were Bluetooth only, or Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. They never had that Zigbee option. So I'm wondering if this is going to somehow fall in between, or if it's going to get rid of the SmartWiz. WiZ. I like that there's an option, a more affordable option with the Hue bulbs. The thing that I think is good is that it opens up people to Thread and not having to pay more money. But I also think it's great that they kept the Zigbee option so that, say you add these bulbs into your bedroom. You don't need the full color and all that stuff. So $15 a piece, you got some color in there, you got some white light, it's all adjustable. So I could see a place for them, for for adding less necessary smart lights, but yeah, I could appreciate what you're saying too, David. You invest in the ecosystem and then there's a bunch of cheaper ones, but I'm sure they will see a difference in them. I don't know. I'll have to get them side by side to see if they stepped on them enough. But if they were the same quality as the $60 bulbs, it's kind of like, what took you so long to make something more affordable? And Lawrence, he's our king of Matter and Thread and all things smart home over on our member-only Discord. My essential bulbs are coming today. Yeah, let us know how it is. Oh, in a few minutes, the truck's in the neighborhood, so he'll be able to tell us what the deal is. You have to use 3 lights to make it work in Hub. Oh, really? I'll have to look at that. I didn't know that part. And Dave's rant. Nice. And Caroline, welcome. Thank you for being here. And William, hey, Craig, one of the things that I'm most excited for that I started to see at IFA is Aqara's new PoE camera coming out, doorbell coming out. And yeah, we'll talk about Aqara in just a moment. Caroline, wondering if anyone has tried these as grow lights. I don't know if you can get, if there's enough output on those. Being such a low wattage bulb, I'm not sure how that works for growing plants, if LED bulbs are good for that. So I don't know anything about that. Lawrence, Third Reality and other companies are making bulbs that are more than comparable to Hue and cheaper still. These untapped potential if Hue can move into that price range. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that have stayed away from Hue because of the price. At $15, one of the lights I like a lot that doesn't need a hub is the Aqara bulbs. I would consider them one of the better smart bulbs that I've used. This is their white version. Let's see. Yeah, I purchased that February 12th. So you got the white version for $17.99. And this is a 1100 lumen bulb. So it's way brighter than the Hue bulbs I've already owned that cost $60. And then their color bulb is $21. So I'm curious to see how the cheaper Hue bulbs stack up. But this, again, will do Thread or Zigbee. I've hooked it up with Thread. It's fine. It's pretty quick. But I hooked it up to my Aqara hubs with Zigbee, and it's still just much faster. I would consider these one of the best bulbs I've used in a while. And yeah, I'll throw a link to these in the chat too. But yeah, I'm a big fan of these bulbs. I actually shot a video that I haven't finished editing. I shot it a while ago. It's just got pushed to the back burner repeatedly. But yeah, I would consider them one of the best bulbs that I've used in a while. If the new bulbs are half as good as they could be, I can see replacing many existing, and they can also do Matter over Thread. Yeah, it will be nice to see how they hold up. The thing is, with a lot of affordable bulbs, the white light may be good, but the color's no good. This bulb behind me is one of the Aqara color bulbs, and it does great color saturation. I really like it for the deep colors. The Hue Essential BR30 is as good as Third Reality repeaters or singles in device models. Hue's going to dominate the market again. Yeah, I'm curious to see how well they do, if they can kind of catch up. Can you see where your 2% comes from? Do you get a list of who is using your link, or do you just get a total? I can't tell who's using the link. I can see individual items that are purchased. And with smart home stuff, sometimes that'll be 3%. Then you can get other items that are 1%. And occasionally there are things that are 4% for the affiliate link. At one point, Amazon Echoes, when they first came out, were 7%. And then those dropped to 4%. And then they've settled in at 3%. And Len, hey Len, welcome. Covey has a light strip. Yeah, that's one of the ones that I've wanted to try that I haven't. Let's take a look at that real quick on Amazon. I've seen great reviews for this. Thank you for mentioning it. I'll bring that up. The Govee Cob Light, one of the more affordable options. I mean, it's $149. So the Philippe one is getting close in price to this, actually, which is kind of surprising. This is 16.4 feet. Oh, I double clicked. It is 16.4 feet, so that would put it at, 5 meters? Is that right? Yeah, about 5 meters. And this thing, you get no bulbs. No LED shining through. And some of the channels I've seen that have used this, they are bright. And they're Matter, so they'll work with any of these smart assistants. So yeah, that's a great recommendation. I'll put a link to that too. This is an affiliate link, so if you do use it, a couple percentage points go back to the channel at no additional cost to you. So yeah. Use those links all you want. Lawrence, I'd love an LED strip that came ready-made in segments for lighting bookcases and shelves. That would be nice. It'd be nice to see somebody have one that could easily be broken up and not have to wire it. Like, I would like to do some LED strips here, but then you got to cut the LEDs, you got to put connectors or solder on the wire, run that, and it could kind of be a pain. And then if you don't want it to be spotty, you got to put it in a channel. It'd really be great to see like a Cobb style, nice even style where you don't need to run any wires to it. And Jack Steiner, Rhett, I dumped you and went with third reality bulbs. Craig, you need to do a light bulb review of these third reality bulbs versus Aqara bulbs and these new Hue. That's a good idea. I like that because now they're all in that same price point. And I've heard some good stuff about the third reality stuff too. Lawrence, I resorted to Zigbee strips from AliExpress. Would love to be able to do something with Hue to have play effects for each shelf. Yeah, I'm curious to see how they do with all of that. One of the greatest things I've noticed, Aqara's new PoE, which let's jump into the Aqara stuff in just a moment. SwitchBot's getting into so many other devices, and we'll talk about some of those in a moment. And Len, I feel like Govee's pretty good pioneer for smart lighting products. In some cases, you'll see them create a product that another company already has, but most of them products seem new. Yeah, and initially Govee reached out to me years ago, and I turned them down. And one time they reached out and they're like, where we'd like to compare these to Philippe Hue because these are some of the best lights out there. And I'm like, I'm sorry, they're not the best. You have no warm white, you have no cool white. And if you're new to the channel, I worked 25 years in the entertainment lighting industry, and over 15 of those years as a lighting designer for events and shows and all that. And I did a ton of work for video. Like what you see here, I take pride in what you see going into the camera is what comes out. There's no post-processing done because I worked with live events. So Govee stuff, I'm like, you're missing this, the warm white, cool white. You don't work with all the smart assistants. I basically went down a list on how they're not the best. So they reached out later on when they did the upgrades. And it's good to see them do some more Matter stuff. And like you said, they make some unique stuff. I want to see them do some smart bulbs. That's the one thing that's missing is Matter smart bulbs. Oh, I mean, Hue switched to the, for aquarium plants. Yeah, so, yeah, they switch. I didn't know that they needed 3 lights for that. Oh, and David, thank you. Say hi to Andrea. Andrea, thank you. I appreciate you guys watching on TV. And, thanks for sitting through the tech talking with David. And putting up with this growing Lego collection. Now, smart plugs and dimmer switch. I do. There aren't a lot of choices that I've seen for smart plugs that dim. Most of them are on and off. The only ones I know of are the Lutron ones that are dimmable. So I don't have any good suggestions for that. When it comes to, and welcome, Michael. When it comes to smart switches, I really like the Lutron Cassetta stuff. Another option is TP-Link. If you don't mind getting into Aqara and getting a hub, I like the Aqara switches too. Now, before we talk about some of the Apple stuff in the comments, let's talk about a couple of new devices that are coming out from SwitchBot. And you know, I've covered quite a bit of SwitchBot stuff on the channel. I think they have some great options. There are some interesting ones coming out, and this is where SwitchBot kind of goes its own way. One of the ones that my daughter wants me to see if I can get from them is the AceMate tennis robot. This thing looks cool. My daughter plays tennis, and with this, what it does is in the big net, it can roll around, catch it, and then as it catches the ball, it will actually shoot another ball out. So it's as if it was hitting the ball with a racket. So yeah, as the ball makes contact, another ball shoots out. So, and it can move around the tennis court pretty well. So my daughter's like, can you ask them if they could send you one of those? So maybe I will. I'll check and see. I don't know. Maybe you'll see a video on one of those coming out. My daughter practiced with it because I can't play tennis. So that's one probably not on most people's list. Another one they're coming out with is the Aqara Friends, the world's first on-device AI pet robot that grows with you. Now, it says grows with you. It doesn't mean physically grows. It just starts to learn with its on-device LLM, large language model. It's designed to be forever by your side. So it'll come over. I guess you could give it a pet. You know, this is an interesting one. Let me know what you guys think. Would you be interested in a robot pet? You know, a little robot stuffed animal to be a companion to you? Or do you see family members that this could be good for? You know, my kids, I don't think it'd work well for them. I don't know about for me. I want a robot that can do chores for me, not look cute and talk to me. But yeah, so you pet me, give me a hug. Basically, it is a moving Furby that can learn about you and stuff. So Aqara's got this coming out. Now, they also have an AI hub that's coming out. So this has vision language models, so it can work with cameras, and based on what you're doing, it can make assumptions. So one of the examples that they had is like if it sees that you're sleeping, it could turn off lights for you automatically. If it sees that you're reading a book, it can turn on some lights automatically for you. So it uses the camera to anticipate or to understand what you're doing by running it through their AI. So if you're in the kitchen and cooking, it could turn on some lights in the kitchen for you. So I don't know about this for me. You know, it senses you, it thinks, and it acts. I'm like, I don't know if I want AI anticipating my moves. But let me know what you guys think in the chat. Now this one I thought was kind of cool, something different. The AI art frame. It actually is an e-ink, so it can change to various art. Create, upload, and enjoy the beauty of an art gallery. So if you wanted a digital picture frame, instead of it needing to use a bunch of power, by keeping an LCD screen on, it would use the same ink that you would find in a Kindle. So you can, a color version. So the way e-ink works is it gets an electrical signal, it changes the pixels, and they stay that way indefinitely. It doesn't require power to maintain that photo. So I thought that was kind of an interesting option. Another thing that's coming from SwitchBot is they are making a new Keypad Vision Pro that can not only do facial recognition, it can also do palm recognition. So I did make a video on the Vision. So if you want to check it out, it is interesting to identify your face and the door unlocks. And they did know. Okay, so they've already shown it here. In a couple of weeks, I will have a video coming out on the K11 Plus mini robot vacuum. I've been using the K10 Plus for quite a while, their Pro version too. So definitely look for that. But I want to see if they're showing it yet. They do have a doorbell that's coming out that includes a separate monitor. So you can, let's see, security. Do they have it? Cameras. No, they don't show. Oh yeah, here's their doorbell. So their doorbell, and I don't know if they have it on Amazon yet. You could pre-order it right now, but you get a separate monitor that will give you some choices on there, some other options, So you got a clock on there, You got something that could be useful when nobody's at the doorbell. So it's not just a separate monitor. But that's some of the options from them. Now, Aqara. I want to cover a couple of Aqara things that are coming out. One, Aqara is coming out with a new video doorbell. And their video doorbell is a wired doorbell. It will have a 2K resolution, and it will be a vertical 2K resolution. So you'll get a taller field of view, which will be nice to see. Instead of, a square, you'll get something that could show head to toe. This is also can be powered with PoE. And PoE is power over Ethernet. So you can run an Ethernet cable to it. That's going to give you continuous power. And it'll be connected to your network the whole time. You won't need to worry about Wi-Fi connections. You'll just have that continuous connection. This will also work with, all the assistants, and you can save your recordings into Apple HomeKit Secure Video. So if you have an iCloud account, it'll save it in there. Now, one that a lot of folks are interested in is their Camera G510, which is going to be Aqara's first battery-operated camera, which is going to be 2.5K resolution, gives you the color night vision, and sounds like a good choice in there. And if you don't know, I did a video on the Aqara G5 Pro camera. It is my favorite camera I've ever used. It connects with 5 gigahertz. It is the fastest responding camera. The clarity is nice. It has a nice big iris on it, or big lens on it, so it does well in low light. And overall, it's been a very solid camera, so you could check out a video on that. They're also making a home station. And the idea with this is that you can connect all your cameras to it, but you can expand the storage with hard drives, SSD drives, or micro SD cards for continuous recording. So I think that's going to be pretty cool, be able to put an SSD drive in there and have all your recordings saved locally. And it'll also serves as a Matter hub, so you can connect other Aqara devices to it. Cool, I'm not that far behind, Bill. Thank you for the heads up. So yeah, they got that coming out. They also have an update to their M2 hub, which has thread and matter to it. They got some thermostat stuff, and they got some European plugs and wall outlets. All things that I don't need here in the US. But that's basically some of the updates going on from Aqara. And Home Guardian, they're expanding their cloud AI detection, AI video summary and search. I see this being a subscription, and I'm not really into subscriptions. That's one of the things I love about Aqara devices is that you don't have to have subscriptions to take advantage of their cameras. You can have local recordings. You could keep all of your recordings in the house. They never have to go anywhere. So I'm the majority of my sensors, all my indoor cameras, and I'm slowly rolling over my outdoor cameras are Aqara. My video doorbell's Aqara, and my 2 smart locks are Aqara. And the stuff's worked so well that a big thing I like about it is their stuff can connect to their hub and use Zigbee. Don't be scared off with hubs. Hubs and Zigbee it's every device I really like in my house uses Zigbee. That's almost everyone. My Aqara G5 Pro is Wi-Fi, but my Lutron cassetta dimmers that are never offline are Zigbee. Philip Hue bulb, Zigbee, and all the Aqara sensors, which are quick, are all Zigbee. So don't be afraid of Zigbee. It is good stuff there. So, and let me know if there's any smart devices or other things you guys have seen that you want to talk about. But I'm going to head back into the chat. We'll see, going with Curtis. Curtis, we'll talk about the Apple event. I want to hear from you guys if there's anything you're looking forward to. I did make a video on some of the updates of things that we can expect. I'll cover, for those who didn't see it, I'll cover some of the devices we should see. Apple is holding their event September 9th, and we'll get into all that in a moment. But Curtis bought a pair of Apple AirPods Max. I wear them every day. Very cool. Yeah, they sound amazing. Personally, I'm an in-ear AirPods Pro guy, but man, the AirPods Max, I did sell mine. I sold mine apparently way too cheap because they sold very quickly on Facebook Marketplace. But I just wasn't wearing them enough. But I will say the best listening experience I've ever had was on the AirPods Max. I haven't heard anything better. Matt, good afternoon. Good to see Aqara finally making a UK smart plug. Yeah, and Aqara, I have 2 of their smart plugs, which are expensive. They're one of the more expensive smart plugs, and they require a Zigbee hub, but they're so reliable. I have one for my main light and one for this light above me, and they've never gone offline. They always work. Oh, God, I'm 20 minutes behind in the chat. Keith, I've been using the Hue ecosystem for a long time, mainly because there was one of the few motion sensors which include daylight sensitivity. Yeah, and their sensors are fast. The only sensors that I found are, like, I have one right there for when I come in the room, and it's just boom, instant response. And the time between triggers is some of the shortest. And that's where, before Aqara ever sponsored anything on this channel, I bought some of their sensors and they were just as fast as Philip Hue. So that was one of the things that made me like them right away. Len, regarding the shelf issue, you could always buy a quality Govee light strip, customize it into segments rather than cutting it. So you use one strip would work. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you could always break it down into segments. And I've seen some folks, Eric from Modern Day Tech, he had a video a long time ago about if you have some cabinets that I think drilling a hole and just running one continuous strip through there is an option too. Len Craig, mostly everything from Govia is warm and cool whites now. It's called, yeah, that's why I appreciate them. That's where I like the Cobb Light and their Pro Strips. They're very affordable. They work with all the assistants and they have warm and cool. For a while they didn't, and they didn't work with Apple. David, I've not seen any more about the new Aqara H1 ceiling track. Yeah, that is one I want to see from them too. The Aqara H1 ceiling. Yeah, this is one that I would really like to see. Let's see if this is the one. No, there. I may not be able to find them right now. But yeah, the Aqara has a track lighting system that looks interesting with individual spotlights and also like little strips, little track lights that look pretty cool. And I'll cover those when I end up doing them. William, welcome. Thank you for being here. Lawrence, dimmer plugs, Lutron or Z-Wave, nothing Zigbee or Wi-Fi that I know of. Yeah, see, that's, thank you for sharing that, Lawrence. Yeah, Lutron is the only one that I've seen, and it comes with its own little remote too. And a first generation Apple Watch Ultra and 10. Oh man, you went all out on Apple stuff. Congratulations on that. And it's a good time if you guys, Apple's event, and let's actually get in, we'll talk about that, and yeah, let's just start diving into that now. So Apple, if you didn't know, Apple's holding their event on Tuesday, September 9th at 10 a.m. PT. And during this event, this is the iPhone event where we'll see all the latest models in iPhones, the latest in Apple Watches, and there's some, apparently AirPods Pro 3 will be coming out with a redesign and possibly some other products. So starting off first, let's talk about the iPhone. So the 8 new products plus new products that are coming, and this is from an article from 9 to 5 Mac. The big thing is the iPhone 17 lineup. And this is where they're supposed to introduce the new iPhone 17 Air. This will, I believe the screen size is bigger than the regular 17, but not quite as big as the Max size. Now with this, it's going to be a single camera design, but it will be extremely thin. It's more in line with like their latest iPad thin. You know, it's going to some of the features. Oh, and apparently the iPhone 17 is getting an upgrade to a bigger screen and will have ProMotion, an always on screen, which is something that I've loved with the iPhone 17. It's nice to have that always on. Oh. You know, even when it's blacked out, to always see the time. If you put it in standby mode on a charger, which I've had mine sitting here the whole time, you end up with, it's all tangled up, you end up with kind of a smart display. And you could change out different widgets and customize it. So definitely a great option there. So yeah, it's nice to see that coming to the base iPhone 17. There's supposed to be the iPhone 17 Air, which is 6.6-inch screen, A19 chip, and a single camera, which I would love to try this. I'd love to try the phone, but I want the cameras. I use the cameras all the time to record my videos. So having the choice in cameras, I'm going to stick with the Pro lineup. I won't go with the Pro Max. The Pro Max is just too big. Something to note with the new iPhones coming out, apparently they're going thicker. And one of the theories I've heard about this, which makes sense, is since the air is so thin right now, you basically, two of these airs thick would equal almost the size of the new, or slightly bigger than the new iPhone. So the theory is that Apple is thickening up the iPhone now in preparation for next year's iPhone Fold. So this theory would be that the phone, when you go into the store and you pick up the iPhone Fold, it doesn't feel like a chunky phone. You're like, hey, compared to my iPhone 17, this thing's about the same thickness. So that theory would be this is a mental trick to prepare you for the next generation phone. So if this foldable phone is 2 iPhone Airs thick, you're now looking at it and going, wow, this is not much bigger than my normal iPhone. And if you bought the Air, you're like, oh my God, this is like 2 iPhone Airs thick. This is pretty small. So I can see it. I could see Apple playing a little mental game going on there. Let's see, Samsung Fold. If you haven't seen Samsung's latest Fold, this thing is like the iPad. It's like the iPhone Air. I mean, this thing is silly thin. It is ridiculous. I'd love to try this phone, but yeah, you're talking super thin phone happening here. Unfolded, the biggest thing seems to be the camera bump. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that. That was folded there. So that's like closed and folded. And then, boom, you end up with this big screen, this big device. So this looks pretty impressive. I think Apple's trying to prep people for this phone, which makes a lot of sense because they're good at giving you that experience for it. Now, a couple other things coming up with the iPhones. There could be a little price hike based on rumors. The iPhone 17 would stay the same. No plus size on the for the 17, but instead you have the Air, which could be about the same price as the previous 16 Plus. Now, with the Pro version, the 17 Pro that I would go for, it would be the first time in 8 years that Apple has raised the price from $999 up to $1,099. But with that, you're supposed to get 256 gigabytes of storage. So basically, they're adding $100, which is the same as if you bought the 16 Pro and added more storage this previous year. So that's supposed to see a little price hike. We'll see about that. The next thing I want to talk about that we're expected to see is the Apple Watch Series 11. Not a big change. Personally, I love the Series 10. It has been my favorite Apple Watch. It sits tight to the wrist. I love the jet black finish. I made a whole video on my experience 8 months later. But with the Series 11, you're going to get a faster chip, 5G support, using Apple's own modem, own chips in there, and then not much else changes. So now for the Ultra 3, this is where we're supposed to see a bigger redesign. They're upping the size of the screen, so probably smaller bezels around the screen, so slightly bigger screen, and that's what the 10 brought, was a slightly bigger screen. And with this, it's supposed to get the new screen that has better off-axis viewing, like the Series 10, and it is also slower refresh rate. So it can refresh at 1 hertz or 1 frame per second. So you can have a second hand in certain watch faces. So now we'll see that technology coming to it. Faster charging, because that's one of the things the Series 10 got. So maybe we'll see it even get a little thinner. And then new chip, 5G connectivity, and possibly a blood pressure sensor in it. So not a huge change there. I mean, it could be a huge change, but that's going to be the biggest change to the Apple Watch this year. Now, the SE is going to step up in screen size. So if you want to go with their more affordable option, there's also the potential from it going from aluminum to plastic, which is interesting to see, a plastic watch. So we'll see what's happening there. This is a good time to consider getting an Apple Watch from from Amazon. The Series 10, for example, you could pick up a Series 10. You could pick up a Series 10 Apple Watch for, let's see, the one that I would go for be the jet black. It looks like they're out of those. Oh yeah, this is the one that I like and have. It is the no, not the 42 millimeter. I want the 46 with the medium to large band. That is $359. So it's down $70. I don't like to return things personally, but if you wanted to lock in a watch now, you could get this at $359. You could watch the Apple event on Tuesday. If you don't see a big enough change in it, because processor-wise, it's not going to be huge. So if you don't see a change, you keep this before they go out of stock, and you don't buy a new one. If you see something you like, you buy the new one and you return this one. So I'll throw a link in the chat. So if you guys do want to potentially get one, you can. And like 4%. Yeah, I would get 4% off of your purchase if you decided to get one. Same thing with the Ultra. The Ultra, I love the sports bands. It doesn't look like they got any good sales going on for the Ultra at this point. Let's make sure we want the large size band. And yeah, it doesn't really look like they got any good deals happening right now. So looks like the Series 10 is the way to go if you wanted to save a little money. This is $50 off, depending on the finish you want. So I'll put a link to this too, because if you decide to get one, I'm like, hey, wouldn't mind a little piece of that action, get a couple percentage points. But yeah, take a look at these, and it's you're within the return period. So if you did want to save a little money, like let's pick out the 44, like, yeah, here's a great example. If you go with the SE, maybe their new SE isn't worth an upgrade. Save 22% on it and get the existing SE. So I'll throw those in there. Now we're over an hour. I'm going to finish off. That's what we can expect, supposedly, from Apple devices. There is the potential for the HomePod Mini and the Apple TV update. Hopefully, I'd love to see those coming out. There's possibility of an October event for iPad Pros, and then maybe hear about that stuff then. I can easily see Apple just doing a press release on those. So hopefully Tuesday we'll find out if they're going to upgrade those smart home items. If you'd like to know more about what you can do with them, if you'd like to know more about the rumored upgrades to those, I did make a video covering the updates that are expected. Significant drop in air quality detected. Uh-oh, I gotta go check that out. Let's see. Let's get back to the chat and see where we're at. Okay, here we go. So, Len, the pet robot would freak out my cat. That right there may be a good enough reason to get it. That's what I need. I need one to just patrol my office because we got 3 kittens back in February. These things love me. They want to be in my office. I have one that is learning how to open the door. She smacks on the lever, whatever, and knocks the door in. She's been successful a couple of times, but she was supposed to be my wife's cat. Now she just follows me into the hall, drops down, meow, little meow. She's super sweet. Always wants to come in. So I need a pet robot to keep him away from my door. SwitchBot Teddy, it's up there with Ring's flying indoor helicopter camera, except it looks like it's actually coming out. So yeah, that would be kind of funny. We need it to be an attack one, or just the eyes turn red and flash and it like growls or yells, just screeches if anybody comes in. So, hey Craig, definitely having a robot like Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I want something that can defend the house when it's gone. I have not seen a price on the robot yet. Let's see. I don't think they have a price listed. Let's see. I didn't see a link to that individually in here. So, yeah, we'll have to see. I'll try it out. I'll see what it does if they want to check it out. Yeah, Tamagotchi V400. You nailed it. That's the ultimate one. Len, yeah, right. That VLM thing is really just some guy in India watching you sleep and read books while controlling your devices. You know what? Amazon Fresh, where you could go in and just load your shopping cart up. The company that was running that, because there's cameras all over the store, it would take about 2 hours after you finish shopping to get a receipt from everything you purchased. And I thought it was cool. I'm like, hey, this is perfect. No cashiers or anything. They found out that it's a company that's manually watching what you put into the cart and entering it in. It wasn't AI. It was nonsense. Bill, I'd be interested in seeing the AI craze in. They're building several data centers in my area, and I don't want the brownouts and blackouts that'll come with them. California power failures are not wanted. Yeah, the resources used are incredible. I mean, I feel bad for some of the folks that are getting it, that are getting those data centers. And what's wrong about it too is they're getting better rates. Supposedly Georgia is one of the best places to build because it's something like 17 cents a kilowatt. But residents in Georgia don't get that low price. It's the business rate. So not only are they zapping the power grid, and they use a ton of water to cool these things. Like there's one video I watched that there's a family complaining about brown water coming out of their faucet now. And just, it's Georgia's giving them good rates. Keith, I've just ordered a Lego wall art Spider-Man for my grandson. Have you built any? This one right here is the Lego Milky Way that I built. I have the Lego Batman one that I built. Yeah, if you guys don't know, my office is kind of Lego crazy. Then I have this Lego Iron Man one, but that was a different style. Wall art. Let's see if it is. This is the one that I built. I thought it was pretty cool. The Batman, the animated series one. So that was kind of fun. And then Lego Milky Way. So I have Lego cars, buildings, and other things. I've done a behind the scenes tour for channel members. And then, yeah, Lego wall art. This one was kind of fun. It's kind of interesting to see what pieces Lego uses in here to create all this. But yeah, that's been my hobby, I guess. My wife's like, you got enough of them in here. Rufino, I hope I got that right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you saying that, and welcome to the channel. Gordon, hey, what do you think of the Rodecaster Pro 2? I like my original Rodecaster. The Rodecaster Pro 2, I would actually consider, unless you need all 4 of those channels on there, or all of these channels, they have a new Rodecaster that is a couple less channels. But man, yeah, this thing is great. I love the first gen. I think they've only improved on it. The one that I would consider getting for my own use would be, I don't know if they have it on here. That's a Pro 2 Plus. They make a 4-channel version. Rode is great. If you don't know them for, let's see, Rode Premium, audio interface. Yeah, this Rodecaster Duo is the one that I think would be a cool option. You get like 4 channels instead of 6. You know, it's a little cheaper, $100 less. You get a couple less pads, and just the fact it would take up less space would be kind of cool. So the Rodecaster Duo, I don't know how much less you'd really get out of compared to some of the other versions of it. So let's see. But yeah, I have the Rodecaster Pro, the first version that I need to sell and get rid of. It's great. I just don't have a full sound setup. John, I heard Apple's going to make their own AI besides Google too. Yeah, and I did a video last week on that that I clipped out of the previous week's stream. And that video, they're basically doing what they call a bake-off happening. They're having Google create a model that would live on Apple servers, and then Apple's creating their own to see which one would work best. But I think it's smart. Take advantage of it. Let's see. Curtis, cool. So, V, are you going to upgrade to the new Apple Watch Ultra, brighter and bigger? Yes, I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to do the upgrades. I told my wife I'll probably trade this one in, and then I'll get the new one. And then you have like 7 days before the trade-in kit gets here. I'll do a comparison between them. I told my wife that I would give her my Series 10 since hers is acting up. So I'll get a Series 11, just do a comparison for that. For TrackLight, go, and I saw, what was that? Nothing like $7 IKEA. Yeah, the IKEA stuff is pretty cool. I need to get some. I still haven't tried their stuff. For TrackLight, go to Lowe's, get simple DIY, and use your own preferred smart bulbs. Yeah, there's that. It's the thing I like about the Aqara one is actually their little strip lights. Like, I like the idea that I could put that over my desk and have just a couple of strips, maybe even run it a different way and just have as a downlight one of the strips. Oh, and yeah, another thing Aqara is releasing is a battery-powered presence sensor, which a lot of people are looking forward to getting. My Aqara millimeter, since working through my bathroom wall, so I can go and the lights will come on without having to go in the room. Yeah, their presence sensors are pretty cool. It is nice. Yes, thank you, Lan. Have I ever told you that I have a Samsung, which is better than Apple? Samsung, man, they make great phones. I loved the S10 back in the day when I tried it. I like One UI. I'm just an Apple household. Yeah, you know what I mean? But that's Samsung. It's either Apple or Samsung. are the way to go. And Samsung always pushes the envelope on there. Samsung is Apple's beta tester. Once Samsung has it dialed in perfectly, then Apple will come in and take it. So don't forget the HomePod with the screen. Not until February. So I know Lawrence is like, that'll never happen. Bigger battery too. Yeah, that'll be nice. A bigger battery. New Philip lineup reveal. Thoughts about the new bridge. Yeah, I talked about that earlier in the stream. Mine has a wobble when plugging it in and sometimes goes off. So thinking of upgrading. One of the things too is the new Philip Hue bridge is also can be powered, it can be connected with Wi-Fi. So instead of actually physically plugging it in to a router, you can finally take advantage of Wi-Fi. I think it's interesting, especially the presence detection. You know, the idea that just by Zigbee signal strength, it can detect whether you're in a room or not. And more devices. So if yours is acting up, I mean, no reason not to. Gives you plenty of room to expand. But yeah, at the beginning of the stream, I talked about their essential bulbs and all that. I love they got more options, so more people. It gives less stuff for people to complain about with you. They're like, it's overpriced. Well, get their affordable version. So Aaron, I'm so sorry. iPhone 17, 17 mini, 16E replacement, iPhone 17 Air, Pro, Ultra next year, Fold model, Max May launch. Yes. So there's the whole lineup. Yeah, and David actually put into the chat the Aqara one. And I got to start to wrap this up soon. Okay, there we go. I'm almost at the end of the chat. And I'm starting to lose my voice. It's the V1. This is what I would like to try out. Their track lighting system. Like, I like the idea of you have the spots wherever you want to put them. You could use the track to power up their sensors and their hubs. So you could put a presence sensor in there. They have two different versions of lights. So you have the spotted, so more focused, and then you have a diffuse version of it. So it looks interesting to me. So I'd love to check it out. So less wires running around. But yeah, it's fully adjustable, work with Apple Home. And you could even throw on, have the hub powered up directly from the track, have the camera powered up. So not that I see doing that personally. Maybe the presence sensors. But for me, it would really be about having nice downlights and throwing some spotlights possibly where I wanted them. Run one of these tracks right above my desk behind me and then throw one of the spotlights as my backlight and be able to dial in the color just the way I like. So yeah, it looks like a cool option. Curtis, I have a Pro Max. The Pro Max is a great phone. It's hefty. That's a hefty phone there. Blake, hey Blake, thank you for being here, man. Popping in for a second to say hi and like the video, then off to my niece's first birthday. Well, happy birthday to your niece and enjoy. Have a good time, man. See, the series producers of Cobra Kai TV series are looking at a Knight Rider reboot. They did well enough on Cobra Kai. People loved it. So if they could do that same type of thing, yeah, that would be great. Oh, Rude Boy, tell them to get out of my state. Oh, the servers, the AI servers. Yeah, it's getting pretty silly, man. If your state has good business power rates, it could get worse. 5 stops away for Lawrence's bulbs. Texas is getting the AI factory too, and we don't have enough power now. Yeah, that is the problem, man. They're so resource hungry, and if the state's giving them discounts to encourage growth, it just makes it worse, and it's going to get bad. So Microsoft supposedly has a data center that they had announced that doesn't use as much water or power, But yeah, it's kind of crazy. And Len, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And yeah, have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks. Have a great weekend, everyone else. And yeah, V, take a look at the beginning of the stream if you can. That's where we get into the different hue stuff in a little more detail. Car model numbers are very random. Yeah, they're all over the place, man. Lawrence, can you power 12 different Aqara hubs off the track? Yes, all 12 different versions that they're making, all but the USB version. And maybe no David Hasselhoff. They got to bring the Hoff back. Bring the Hoff. But anyways, I'm going to get out of here. We made it to the end of the chat. I want to thank you all for being here, spending part of your day here. I hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend. I'll be back next week, and we'll do it again then. So, and thank you, John. I appreciate it. Very great stream. Thank you. I hope there's some decent information in here and something of value. And I'll catch you guys next week. And again, have a great weekend. And stay tuned. I'll share what's coming up in the Apple world as we hear about that on Tuesday. I might be doing a member stream. I just can't actually stream the event. So it'd be like a little watch party possibly for members. So we'll see what happens with that. And let's see, last couple of chats. Bill, one of the new data centers being built in northern Indiana will use the equivalent electricity equal to half of the households in Indiana. That's just one. Yeah, you could definitely abuse the AI side of things. And what I talked about this during my member stream, the fact that anytime you do a Google search, there's an AI summary. I mean, that right there, every time you're hitting a data center for that, which is crazy. David, see you all next week. Don't forget Discord. Yeah, come by Discord if you guys haven't. And Alan, have a great day, man. I appreciate you. And say hi to Nancy. And Curtis, have a great weekend, everyone. I'm out of here. Bye.